Get ready to embark on lucid journeys. Explore the Phillip Aisling multiverse.
All right, so welcome everyone to this deep dive. And today we're going to be talking about something pretty wild.
Yeah.
We're going to be jumping headfirst into Phillip Aisling's multiverse.
Have you ever had that feeling that, like, maybe what we experience day to day, maybe that isn't the only show in town?
Yeah.
Like, there could be, like entire worlds, whole other realities kind of humming just beneath the surface of what we usually perceive.
When we talk about lucid journeys, what are the big, recurring themes or ideas that we see in these excerpts?
Well, one thing that really jumps out is this connection between dreams and the possibility of interdimensional travel.
And I think one of the things that I found so compelling was this idea that dreaming, something we all do,
Right.
could actually be something really significant.
Yeah, it's like a gateway to something bigger, something more.
So join us as we journey through the lucid multiverse of Phillip Aisling, where dreams are more than just dreams.
And one last thought for you. If our dreams are glimpses into other realities, what stories might be unfolding within us every night?
That's something to think about.
Yeah. Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take sources you're curious about and, well, we really dig into them for the key stuff.
Yeah, we unpack it all.
And today we're jumping right into the world of Phillip Aisling, pulling from Dreams of Phillip Aisling and the Numinous Nagwagan.
But it's not just about, recounting cool dream sequences. There's something deeper here.
Exactly. We're exploring why Phillip's dive into lucid dreaming isn't really about him being, destined for it.
Right. It's not some special power he's just given. It's a path he kind of finds himself on through his own experiences, his choices.
Which honestly makes him way more relatable, doesn't it? It puts the power back in his court, and maybe ours too.
Forget the chosen one trope for a sec. This is different.
Totally. In these early bits, Phillip's just a normal kid hitting up against something, extraordinary. So it really makes you think, what would you do if you suddenly clicked, hey, I'm dreaming? Let's get into these first vivid dreams of Phillip's.
Okay, so we first meet him. It's the night before his 13th birthday.
Real one.
Yeah, and he's reading this fantasy book, Ego the Explorer, but his thoughts, super normal kid stuff.
Like what?
Oh, his upcoming party, hoping for chocolate chip cookies, worrying about embarrassing aunts. Just really shows he's an everyday kid.
Grounds him completely, and then boom, out of nowhere, this dream hits him, and it's intense.
Describe it.
Okay. Picture a really long, fancy hallway, black and white marble tiles, shiny.
Got it.
Leaded glass windows, sunlight pouring through, ivy climbing outside, and he feels this warmth, this huge sense of space. Makes him feel tiny.
Wow. Quite the shift from cookies and ants.
Right. And then it gets weirder.
Uh-huh.
An unseen voice invites him into this dark room. It's packed with tall bookshelves. There's a fireplace going.
Cozy, but maybe a bit spooky.
And a man, just a silhouette against the firelight. Now, most people might freak out a little.
Yeah, probably.
But Phillip, nope. He's just curious. He decides to go check it out.
That's interesting in itself, that lack of fear, more like intrigue.
Exactly. But just as he's about to, maybe, find something out,
Don't tell me.
his mom wakes him up. Happy birthday.
Or a classic dream interruption. You can almost feel his frustration, right?
Totally. Pulled right out. And he's left with this memory, this intriguing but kind of fuzzy image of the figure. It really sets up this bleed between his normal life and these wild dream experiences.
And the next day, his actual birthday, it reinforces that. We see him doing chores with his brother Jeff, dealing with his quite eccentric Auntie D.
Lavender trousers.
Lavender trousers absolutely helping out, even though she's grieving. It's all very real life. He's just waiting for his friends.
And then they arrive. Cynthia bursts in, all energy, right? Sing-song voice.
Carrying a really heavy present. Turns out it's something called Wacky Watermelon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds messy.
Maybe. But the point is, even with all the party stuff starting, Phillip's mind is still chewing on that hallway dream.
You can't shake it.
No. And he's even sort of connecting his birthday wish, blowing out the candles, with wanting to understand that dream.
That contrast is key, isn't it? Playing Wacky Watermelon, talking about the ego books he was just reading.
The very books that maybe spark something.
While this other stranger reality is bubbling up inside him, they're starting to overlap.
And that dream world doesn't let up. The next dream is just as vivid, maybe more so.
Where is he this time?
A Mexican carnival.
Yeah.
Super vibrant, right on a beach. He gets shaved ice. a slushie.
Oh, the details.
Yeah, like the vendor energetically shaving the ice block, pouring on the syrup. He freezes strawberry with whipped cream.
Ooh,
and then there's this crazy spinning carnival ride. Goes faster and faster until it just liquefies, melts away.
Whoa. Okay. And in the dream, is he freaking out?
That's the weird part. In the dream itself, there's this strange lack of surprise. Like, oh, the ride melted. Okay.
He's adapting already.
Maybe. But the really wild part is when he wakes up.
Go on.
He has actual physical sunburn.
No way.
Yes. And his tongue is green, like from the lime slushy he had in the dream.
Okay, stop. A dream gave him sunburn and a green tongue. That changes things.
Right. These aren't just pictures in his head anymore. They have physical consequences.
And he's obviously got to tell his friends about this.
He's bursting to. On the school bus, he's telling Jack and Cynthia, trying to make them understand how real it felt.
And how do they react?
Well, Jack just talks about some boring, normal dream he had. Standard stuff.
Yeah.
And Cynthia, she's skeptical. Immediately. Says the green tongue must have been from candy he ate the day before or something.
The voice of reason, maybe? Or just disbelief?
Yeah, but Philip's insistent. He knows these dreams are different. More vivid, more real. It really highlights the gap opening up between his experiences and, normal reality.
Then things get another layer of interesting. A new student arrives, Laird Jopkins.
Right. And she's got this cool background, traveled a lot, lived in Veracruz, Mexico for a bit.
Veracruz? Didn't you just say?
Exactly. Hold that thought. Philip feels this weird sense of familiarity with her. Can't place it, but it's there.
Okay, I'm sensing a connection.
So, Philip's on the bus, still trying to convince Cynthia and Jack about the sunburn and the green tongue.
Cynthia's probably rolling her eyes.
Pretty much. Doubting a dream could do that. And just then, Lair overhears them. Asks what dream they're talking about. And Cynthia kind of blurts out, "Oh, Philip dreamed about you." Which isn't quite right, but...
Close enough to spark something.
Bingo. Lair mentioned she literally just moved to town. From where? Veracruz?
The carnival dream location.
Precisely. And then she adds this totally random detail. She'd just gotten a burger with her dad after arriving. Seems irrelevant, right?
Yeah.
But for some reason, that burger detail just clicks for Philip. Feels significant.
Huh. Weird. But the Veracruz thing is huge.
It gets bigger. They start talking about the carnival rides. Lair remembers this crazy one, calls it the Galleon Messeter, a swaying galleon ship ride.
Which Philip also dreamt about.
Yes. Now, her memory doesn't include the part about being scooped out of the water in a net, like his did.
Okay, so slightly different perspectives.
But the core experience, that specific chaotic ride, they both remember it from around the same time. It strongly suggests they might have somehow shared or overlapped in that dream space.
Yeah.
It's not just coincidence anymore.
Wow. Okay, so his dreams are vivid, they have physical effects, and now they might be shared? This is escalating.
Definitely. And the dreams keep coming.
Yeah.
Some are just strange, like one where a plant in his Aunt Meredith's house comes alive and hugs him.
Hugging plant. Right.
But we also see him start doing breathing exercises, researching them. Feels like he's starting to try and, maybe control this.
Yeah.
Or at least understand it. Maybe even trigger it.
Moving from passive dreamer to active explorer.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
And that leads into a really intense underwater dream.
Oh, yeah. How's this?
Starts off amazing. He's weightless. The water's crystal clear.
Right.
But he doesn't need goggles or oxygen. He can just breathe the water.
Cool.
He sees colorful coral, weird sea creatures.
Mm-hmm.
But then the mood shifts. He starts sinking down into this dark, cold trench. And then this fish appears. Big, menacing, with sharp teeth and these really unsettling orange eyes.
Yikes. Nightmare territory.
Absolutely. And this is the first time we really see Philip feel genuine fear in a dream. He desperately wants out, wants to escape.
That's a big shift from the carnival ride melting.
Huge difference. It shows this world isn't all wonder. It has dangers too. But his reaction is key.
What does he do?
Instead of just being terrified, he tries to take control. He actively tries to get back to that first dream hallway, the one with the figure. He's looking for answers, maybe? Or just safety.
He's seeking out the figure now,
Yeah.
not just stumbling into things.
Exactly. It shows real agency starting to develop.
And does he find him?
He does. He finds the old man from the first dream again. But this time, the setting is different. It's a brighter room in the same, mansion place. A music room filled with instruments. A grand piano.
Okay, less spooky, more refined.
Yeah. And this is where things start getting explained. The old man tells him flat out, "You're a lucid dreamer, a true dreamer."
Finally, a label.
And he says Philip has passed through the first gate of dreaming, simply
God.
becoming aware that you are dreaming. That realization itself is the first step.
Ah, okay. The moment of lucidity.
Precisely. And then the bombshell. These dreams, they're not just dreams, they are glimpses into alternate instances of reality.
Whoa. Other universes.
Essentially, yes. Places where Philip's mind temporarily slips into the body of his alternate self. He's broken through a dimensional barrier.
Okay, my head hurts a little. How does he explain that?
He uses analogies, talks about infinite energy flowing, forming existence, uses a green box and a sort of holographic Philip to illustrate.
Visual aids are good.
He talks about dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first three dimensions create matter, our physical world.
Standard stuff.
But then the fifth dimension, he calls it a probability field. Like all possibilities exist there as pure energy, pure potential. And the act of observing, focusing your awareness, which he calls the assemblage point, is what makes that energy collapse into one specific reality, our reality.
So looking at something makes it real. Choice matters.
That's the idea. Our choices, our focus, literally shape existence from this field of potential.
And this assemblage point, what is that exactly?
It's like the lens of our experience, the point where our mind gathers up all the sensory data and uses that infinite energy to, well, assemble the reality we perceive and interact with.
Mind blown. So Philip's big question must be, why me? Why now?
Exactly. And the metaphysician, that's what we can probably call the old man, has an answer for that too. It's not what you might expect.
Not destiny, not a prophecy.
He talks about an awakening that happened on Philip's 13th birthday.
Okay.
It was tied to the Earth's position in space. Apparently, it mirrored the exact conditions of the moment Philip was born.
A cosmic alignment sort of thing.
Kind of. And that alignment, for young potential dreamers, lowers the dimensional barrier, making it easier to punch through into these alternate realities for the first time.
So it wasn't him specifically being chosen, it was the conditions being right.
Exactly. It's an awakening, a natural event triggered by circumstance, not a you are the chosen one deal.
That's huge. That changes the whole narrative.
It really does. And he adds that once you've passed through that first gate, once you've had that first lucid experience under those conditions, it becomes easier to do it again. The pathway is sort of opened.
This feels central to our whole deep dive today. He's not special, he just happened to be receptive when the conditions were right.
Right. It demystifies it, in a way. Makes it less about magic and more about potential and circumstance.
How does Philip take all this? Is he impressed?
His reaction is brilliant. He basically says, well, it doesn't seem so special to me. Everyone has dreams. Very down to earth.
Huh. Understated.
But the metaphysician pushes back hard. He makes it crystal clear. Being a dreamer, a lucid dreamer, is fundamentally different from just regular dreaming or daydreaming or just imagining things.
It's a distinct state of consciousness.
And with a distinct ability. Dreamers, he says, can actually perceive and experience other worlds, parallel lives, through the consciousness of their alternate selves living in those realities.
So you're actually there, in a sense, through another version of you.
That's the concept. Though he clarifies, you can only dream of worlds where an alternate version of you exists. It's not like you can access every single infinite possibility, just the ones you have a counterpart in.
Still pretty vast, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, let's tie this back. We started by asking why Philip, not being the chosen one, actually makes him more powerful, more relatable. This explanation seems key.
It is. His journey isn't predetermined. It's sparked by this natural awakening, yes, but it's fueled by his curiosity, his choice to investigate, his active engagement, like seeking out the metaphysician again after the scary fish dream.
The power comes from his awareness, his agency within this larger process, not from some external decree.
Precisely. It's empowerment through understanding and participation, not through passive selection. And that feels much more relevant to us, right?
Definitely. It shifts the focus from, am I special, to what can I discover? What can I do with this awareness?
Which brings us back to that question for you, the listener. If lucid dreaming isn't some mythic destiny, but potentially an accessible state of awareness, maybe triggered by certain conditions, maybe developed through practice, what does that open up?
What could you explore about your own consciousness, about reality itself, if you could become aware within your dreams? It's a pretty profound thought.
It really is. Philip's story, these early steps, they show that amazing journeys can start not with a prophecy, but just with noticing something strange and deciding to look closer.
So, wrapping up this first look at Phillip Aisling's lucid beginnings, the big takeaway. He's not the chosen one. And that's okay. That's actually more interesting.
Yeah, he represents that potential for discovery that might just be dormant in anyone. His power emerges from his choice to engage with the extraordinary.
So keep pondering that question. What would you do if you realized you were dreaming? Think about Philip's journey, the wonder, the fear, the seeking answers.
And his story is just beginning. There's so much more hinted at: dreamers' dictionaries, oracles, this whole dream multiverse.
And we'll be diving deeper into all of that in future. Well, let's call them lucid journeys, shall we? Right here.
That sounds good.
So make sure you like, follow, share all that good stuff so you don't miss our next exploration into these incredible realms.